Alright, let's do this fucking shit.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Sitting Ringside. This is episode number 173. As always, Robert Villa here, and my boys, Mark and Hugh Miller and Rudy Lara. Well, fellas, we have an awesome show tonight. We have UFC fighter straight from Canada, Kyle the Monster Nelson. He is going to be joining us here in a little bit. We're going to talk to him about his upcoming fight against Blake Builder. It's going to be a very interesting conversation with the Canadian here, being that we have a Canadian host here with us. Right on. But before we get started, let me go ahead and do our quick shout-outs. HKA USA. Go to hkausa.com. Show your support, as they show a lot of support to us. Also, go and check out Brave Combat Federation. They are huge supporters of Fightbook MMA. So watch their fights. Go to their website. They are a badass promotion. Also, shout out to One Championship and to all the promotions that we work with. And also to, let's see here, Flow Combat, Flow Combat, Fight TV, ESPN Plus, The Zone, and MMA TV. All right, y'all. Let's everybody that's watching right now, let's go ahead and welcome a UFC fighter, Mr. Kyle the Monster Nelson. How's it going, brother?
Oh, it's going great. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic, man. Thank you so much for being able to jump on with us tonight. We're just, a couple guys love to talk fights and all kinds of other stuff. So welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Right on. Mark, start it off, brother.
So now that UFC's coming back to Canada finally, how excited are you, and what can the hometown fans expect on June 10th?
Yeah. I mean, it's been like three and a bit years maybe since UFC's been to Canada, which has meant I've had to travel, down to the States, over to England, and I love to travel, but there's nothing like fighting at home. So very excited to fight in front of an arena full of Canadians and Canadian fans. And so it's definitely going to motivate me to put on, my best show yet.
So Kyle, so before we got you on and we were off air here, we were talking about your last two fights, and we were talking about the fight against Billy Quarantillo. That, to me, that fight was a fucking war. It was just a banger of a fight. I had you winning that fight until, obviously, unfortunately you did get caught, but things happened. But man, dude, that fight was just it was just awesome. So, and then the fight against Jai Herbert, in my opinion, you should have won that fight.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do anything different during camp from these two losses coming into fighting Builder? I know you had a majority decision against Doho Choi, but it's these three fights. I'm sure it put a fire for you to come in and put on a great show, especially in front of your hometown, your friends, your family. Was there anything different that you did during camp, or was it just business as usual?
So a little bit of business as usual. Since the Billy fight, again, like I felt my skill set in the Billy fight was great. Just kind of the weight cut and stuff didn't go the best, cutting down to 145 on shorter notice. So that's why I moved up to 155 and again fought Herbert. Again, that weight cut went great. So, I was able to kind of keep the pace up for the whole fight. Unfortunately, the judges kind of sided with him. And then after that, we went back down to 145 with a little bit more notice. And then that fight went again. I thought it went great. Skill set felt good. I didn't gas out, didn't get too tired like I did in the Billy fight. So I was able to kind of maintain, my skill set, which I felt, I got the better of Doho in that fight. Felt like he was a little
Mm-hmm.
more defensive. I came close to finishing the fight in the first round with the choke, and then in the second round, I rocked him pretty good. But yeah, so we're just going to keep building off that. Now that my cardio and stuff is taken care of, my weight cuts are going a lot smoother down to 145, and my conditioning is even better than ever. So I'm able to keep that high output without worrying about gassing.
Nice.
That's good, man. Because it's we see a lot of fighters that don't try to change anything of what they're doing, especially during fight camp and when they're training. Especially coming with these type of losses, like to me, I feel like, yeah, you lost, but it wasn't like like you didn't get like it wasn't a total loss. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I can articulate what I'm trying to say, but um, I know sometimes like the fighters have that in the back of their mind. They're like, shit, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again. Um, but I see that you're pretty focused and you look like you're ready to go in there and put on a show, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Again, even in the Billy fight, I felt again like I was winning. Definitely won the first round. I thought I had the second round. Just yeah, the weight cut kind of caught up to me in that third round,
Hmm.
and so yeah, with Jai, everything went pretty smoothly. Same with Superboy. Now it's just going to be putting the pedal down a little bit more and stepping up the pace, and then when I'm landing those shots, making sure that I don't let them get away.
Are we going to see a lot more elbows in the clinch if it gets to that point, man? Because you got some nasty elbows.
Yeah, yeah, definitely knees and elbows, in that tie clinch in the 50-50. So, I know Herbert ate a couple of them. I was able to finish Polo with those. So it's definitely, a weapon that I look for, but I'm sure Builder's going to be trying to avoid that at all costs.
Even those calf kicks, man, because you were landing those calf kicks against Herbert and he didn't like it.
No, no, again, I think my last two opponents kind of left the arena on crutches. So,
How long have you been in camp for?
So we did again. I fought like July last year in England. I took a little bit of time off. Like I stayed training and stuff, but took the foot off the gas pedal a little bit to make sure I recovered. And then yeah, went into the Superboy fight, and then I got out of that one again without any injuries or anything. Didn't really get hit too much in that fight, if at all. So I was ready to go right away. So I kind of just stayed in camp for the most part, and there was always kind of rumors about the UFC coming to Canada, so I wanted to make sure I was ready for that.
Hell yeah, man. What was your initial thought when your manager called you up and said, hey, you got to fight here in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I was super excited. That was before, like I got the notice or the fight offer kind of before any of my teammates or really. We kind of heard rumors about Calgary or Vancouver, but we didn't really know a date. We didn't really know anything yet. So when I got that offer, even on the fight offer, it didn't say where it was going to be. Just said like June 10th, my opponent. So we're pretty sure it's going to be in Canada because we knew they were wanting to come to Canada. But then the rumors started flying about whether it was going to be Calgary or Vancouver. Some people were even saying Toronto. So it was, definitely exciting, and I would love to fight in Toronto again soon. So hopefully they'll come back here before the end of the year.
Now, how awesome for you to fight at a pay-per-view event, with Amanda Nunez versus Aldana. It's a stacked card, and you're on that bill, man. It's to me, I feel like that's a true honor to be on this pay-per-view event. Um, Bro, I mean, how awesome is that, Cloud?
Yeah. I mean, it feels great. And I think the UFC has recognized my skill set and my hard work. And again, even coming off the draw and the loss, I think they kind of, I think maybe they saw it maybe going the other way. But even if not, in the Billy fight, Dana came back and told me how well he thought I did and stuff like that. So I know they appreciate my fighting style and how I move forward. And I'm always looking to finish the fight. So I'm sure that's why they're putting me on this card, and it's going to be nice to be on a pay per view again. I think I've only been on one, and it was my first fight, kind of on 3 days' notice. But I remember the kind of different, the different energy and the ceremonial weigh-ins and kind of the different stuff that goes on for the pay per view events. I'm excited to get to live that again.
Yeah, man, that's pretty badass. Um, so off of your training and when you're not in fight camp, do you still go to your old stomping grounds at Moose Delaney Sports Grill to watch the fights?
Yeah. I try and get by there whenever I can. I split my time between my hometown in Huntsville, Muskoka, and then down in
Mhm.
Stony Creek where I do a lot of my training. So
Right
yeah,
down
I'm
the
kind of all
highway.
over the place, but yeah, I do love stopping in at Moose Delaney's when I can.
Right on, man. That's awesome. That place looks awesome, man. When I was looking at the pictures, like, wow, it's a cool little spot, man.
Yeah, yeah, and they fill it up every time I fight. So it's great that my hometown can kind of come together and watch me fight.
That's
Hmm.
amazing. Mark?
Yeah, I know you've came down to St. Catharines to train with Niagara Top Team. How did you enjoy it being down here?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm there, once or twice a week. I was there this morning. So yeah, so I do a lot of my pro sparring there, and a lot of kind of the high level pros, even all over the GTA and stuff, kind of come together to meet at Niagara Top Team. So we got guys in the UFC, PFL, Bellator, BFL, kind of all the main organizations, and then all the kind of local shows as well.
Hmm.
And
I got a funny question. What's your ketchup on KD? Yes or no? If you eat KD.
no ketchup.
I don't know what that is, but cool.
And what is your favorite cheat meal?
Probably pizza. I do like like cakes and donuts and stuff like that. The sweets, poutine's good, but
I
the
love
pizza, it's got everything in it for me.
We always like to pick on our Canadian friend here, Mark, just because he's fun to pick on. Oh, man. So, what do you do for fun, man? Let's get to know you a little bit more outside of the fighting. I mean, what do you do for fun? I know you're a family man, you're a church-going guy. Um, Talk to us about that, man.
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, every Sunday we're at church. Then I like going to the movies. Movies are kind of a nice escape, especially in training camp. When all I do is like train, eat, sleep, fighting and then watching fights and then watching the UFC and stuff. So movies are definitely something that I like to get away, reading a little bit. And then, yeah, just, coming home to Huntsville, where I'm from, is a small town. So, I get to go out and, ride four wheelers with my fiance and, shoot some guns and, do some cool stuff like that, gets me out in the outdoors and kind of takes my mind off the sport.
Right on. So, what's the latest movie you watched?
Yes, we've been watching a lot of movies. We just went to the movie theater and watched Fast and Furious 10. So
Oh,
I've missed like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I was kind of behind on it. But, I figured it's one of those ones that's just going to be action packed and full of crazy stuff. So I wasn't too concerned about a really deep storyline or plot with something like Fast and Furious. So it was just kind of get out and watch an action movie.
did you like it?
Yeah. I mean, some
Yeah.
of the action was over the top. It was kind of what I was expecting. It's some pretty crazy, unrealistic stuff, but
Yeah, you get the popcorn, your drinks, your nachos, the hot dogs. I mean, the whole 9 yards, the candy. I think
yeah,
that's the
chocolate, a bunch
best.
of chocolate, and yeah.
Yeah. So that Fast 10, man, we were going to go watch it last weekend, but we couldn't go. So we're going to go this weekend since it's a, Memorial Day weekend, long 3-day weekend for us. So uh, we're probably going to end up going on Sunday, or probably tomorrow since there's no UFC tomorrow. But
Yeah,
now that you mentioned that, I'm going to have to tell the wife we're going to go fishing.
there
You
you
like to
go.
go? You like to go fish, Kyle?
Yep. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
grew up fishing, hunting, all that stuff. So mainly deer, deer like white-tailed deer a lot, moose. We haven't been out for moose a whole lot lately because we like to go a little farther north for that. And then just with fights and stuff, I've been busy. But yeah, deer, moose, partridge are kind of the main stuff we go out for. I prefer it over deer, over venison. Yeah, I think it's a little better flavor.
So, Kyle, Unified MMA is also a couple weeks after your event. How excited are you for that event? 'Cause I know you're probably going to end up most likely going because you're right down the highway from Niagara Falls. So,
Yep.
are you
Yeah, and
excited? Like,
yeah, we got a bunch of teammates fighting on that as well. Obviously, out of Niagara top team.
mhm.
So yeah, I mean, Unified always puts on great cards. So yeah, I know I'd like to try and make it down for that. Kara's BTC's got a fight coming up too, maybe. But yeah, there's just so
Mhm.
much going in June. But yeah, I'd love to make it out as much as I can. And then my brother's getting married too, so I'm in the wedding party for that. So it's going to be a pretty jam-packed summer.
Wow. That's yeah, because this summer, man, the UFC is going to be putting out a shit ton of fights, man. Um, that's crazy. Well, congrats to your brother, man, that he's getting married. Speaking of marriage, when are you gonna tie the knot?
We'd like to do it soon. My brother's getting married this summer, so we may maybe start planning for next year.
Right
It's
on.
pretty crazy with trying to book wedding halls or this and that. Like everything's booked like a year in advance, especially where I'm from. I think a lot of people from like
Wow.
Toronto, big cities
Mhm.
kind of come up here to do their wedding in like the country and stuff. So everything
Yeah.
here gets booked up like a year in advance.
Dang. That's crazy. Here in the States, man, you can just pick up the phone and call wherever, and they're like, sure, next weekend.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do two weddings. So we're gonna do one
Oh,
up here in Canada, and then my fiance is from Virginia, so we're gonna do another one down there too. Yeah,
yeah, Virginia's nice in the summertime.
yeah, yeah. We get to go down there. We go down there probably every other month or so. Visit her family and stuff, and it's about an 8 hour drive. So if we split the drive, and sometimes we'll drive overnight and then get to spend some time down there.
That's awesome. Right on, man. You guys have any more questions for our guest?
Yeah, I mean, usually like every well, because UFC is on pretty much every Saturday, but usually every Saturday, even if there isn't like anyone I know or anyone I'm super interested, we'll have it kind of on in the background, and then yeah, I mean, like as it gets closer to fights, and I'm kind of burnt out, from training and stuff like that. I'll I won't watch it as closely, but there's always kind of the main events and stuff that I like to pay attention to. Favorite fighter right now? I mean, I'm interested in, kind of the drama and stuff going on between McGregor and Chandler right now. I'm I'm looking forward to see, how that goes in that season of The Ultimate Fighter. John Jones at heavyweight right now. I just heard some rumors that maybe him versus Stipe is off, so I don't know what exactly is going on there. But even Jones versus Sergey Pavlich, I believe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that'd be a great fight as well. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of good stuff going on in MMA, and we'll see what happens with Francis and the PFL. And yeah,
That's got to be a first. For, first time anybody, our guest,
That is true.
we mentioned
That,
John
that,
Jones.
yeah, that's like our thing on the show is we have to mention John Jones. If it's the good, the bad, or the ugly, it doesn't matter. We got to throw in that name one way or another, and you beat us to it, man.
there we go.
Um, hey, now that you mentioned about Francis Ngannou, what are your thoughts on this new contract signing and his new role in the PFL Africa and fighters getting a guaranteed 2 million? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Is that something that do you feel like it's going to be a shift in the MMA scene when we have free agents now?
Yeah. I mean, once I heard that, I was like, sign me up. I'll fight Francis, 2 million. I'll be diving for ankles, I'll be rolling, I'll be doing some capoeira. I don't know. I'll try
Yep.
some of who was it? Gracie not too long ago fought Charles Jourdain, pulling guard and stuff. I'll
Oh,
do two
dude.
million. But yeah, so I mean, like from what I've heard, sounds like Francis has done, a game changing, kind of deal there. I mean, not only for himself, but for his opponents, and hopefully he's setting a new standard for fighters in other organizations as well. It'll just be interesting. I mean, I hope it all goes as well as planned. I mean, the PFL signed off and is offering a lot. I just hope that they're able to kind of, stick to it and fulfill it. And then hopefully we'll see some of that trickle into some other organizations. I know sounds like the UFC kind of did a record year last year by making like 1 point some odd billion dollars. So, the UFC is definitely making some good money. So hopefully with Francis kind of setting some ripples in effect with his deal there, maybe we'll see some of that, come over to the UFC as well. Yeah, they're gonna have to bring in, try and bring in a big name as well. I think to just financially for it to make sense for them. I mean, it's awesome that the fighters are gonna make, Francis will make whatever he's supposed to get 8 million or whatever that is, and then his opponent getting 2 million, then Francis getting part of the gate, and all that's awesome. But the PFL still has to make money somewhere and somehow. So, yeah, I think you got to try and bring in a big name to get people to fill the seats and or buy the pay per view or however they end up doing it. It would be unless whoever came in and took him out, had some sort of like Conor McGregor persona, and they could elevate that person off of Francis's name and stuff and really throw that guy into the spotlight. So yeah, whichever opponent they pick, they're going to want to make sure they're picking a good guy that's maybe some charismatic and well known if possible. Yep, even to take his back standing. Like if he can just kind of get into some of that clinch stuff, who knows? Maybe he could take Francis back and choke him standing. I mean, Werdum's real tricky with jiu-jitsu.
Hmm. Yeah, that's some interesting points there, man.
Hmm.
It's a huge shift, obviously, with what Francis is doing. Um, being that the UFC is making billions, and now with this whole merger with the WWE, I mean, I don't know, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. What are your thoughts on that, man? That the UFC, the company you fight for, is now in partners with the WWE. Do you even watch pro wrestling?
No, I don't really watch it too much. Like my brother's a fan of it. But yeah, I watched it when I was younger and stuff, then kind
Yeah.
of got away from it. But I mean, the WWE does obviously they do amazing numbers. They fill stadiums all the time and make a bunch of money. So I don't know how much there's going to be any type of crossover or transfers or anything like that. But I mean, I'm not opposed to going in there and choke it, slamming somebody or
Hell
drop
yeah.
whatever. So yeah,
Well,
I'm open to
we'll
that.
see Kyle Nelson on a freaking ladder match.
Yeah, yeah, but I can bring my deer stand into the WWE and jump off that and
Exactly.
pull some.
That's awesome.
I mean, we've already seen, a lot of the UFC fighters cross over to the WWE, and then they're very successful. They're doing great. It's so for them to come over to the UFC, like Rudy said, we're going to see another disaster, just like CM Punk.
Yeah.
But I feel like fighters going to the WWE is a different story. Y'all are athletic, and you can take a punch, you can take a hit, and like you said, man, you'll drop off the ropes, land, and make a good payday.
Yeah.
So
What are
right
your
on,
thoughts
man.
on power?
I mean, Dana seems to be pretty excited about it, but I don't know like that. And from what I've heard about the guys, like how much they're getting paid, and I mean,
Yeah,
you're everyone's getting concussed, so it's not a long career. I mean, you make a couple grand, if that. It's it's just shot for shot, and so I don't really see any technique or skill or really any entertainment value in it. I'm not big on watching people just get knocked out for the sake of getting knocked out. If I see somebody like Francis put together a crazy combination or land a huge shot, then well, yeah, that was cool because there's some technique and there was a lot of stuff going on and a lot of factors. Whereas slap is just kind of you flip a coin and then we'll see who goes to sleep first. So it's not my cup of tea.
Kind of, kind of. I'm one of them. I like style stuff. I mean, for me, it's just something fun to watch on a Wednesday night. It was on the weekend, but I watched the show last night and the fight.
Oh,
yeah, because it.
yeah. From what I heard, it was like 2 grand. So maybe it was 2 grand to show. Which I don't know if that's worth brain damage, but yeah.
They got stars like their main star. The guy who's the biggest guy. What is his name? Started like power. Slap for cash. That's the guy. That he got knocked out. Big one. That was fun watching. That, like 500 pounds.
I was like, no, not for me.
No.
So I never watched a single episode of Power Slap last year. Okay, I finally watched just 2 fights yesterday, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't. I cannot just sit there and watch this. It's yeah. I'm with you, Kyle. I cannot see this. You know, I tried. Sorry, Rudy. I tried, but I can't, man.
Don't apologize to me.
Oh my God.
Kyle, will you ever dip into the bare knuckle scene?
I think the money would out. I mean, if they're offering me like that, Chad Mendez kind of money, I'd look into it. It's, but again, I don't think it's a very long career either, just with the amount of like scar tissue and damage you're going to take just from the bare knuckles and like getting cut so much. I don't think it's something you're going to see. There's going to be the odd kind of outlier that does 10 or 15 fights in a career. I think for the most part, it's kind of a not a long career. So if the money was right, I might look at doing one or two, but yeah, I wouldn't bet my future on it.
Yeah, I feel like the bare knuckle scene is for those fighters that are at their end of their career and they don't want to do MMA anymore. They just want to get that payday, and they feel that I got 3, 4 more fights in me. Let's just do the bare knuckle and call it a quits.
Yeah.
So, right on, man. Guys, anything else for Mr. Kyle here?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hell
Thanks a
yeah.
lot for having me on, guys.
Yes, Kyle, before we let you go, man, like we always do with all our guests, any shout outs you want to give, any sponsors, anybody you want to give a shout out to, bro, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, thanks a lot to everyone in my gym, House of Champions, Muskoka Martial Arts, Niagara Top Team, all my sponsors, Moose Delaney's, the Sport Lab, Muskoka Renos, GLC Construction. Um, there's a few more in there. Check out my social media; you'll see all of them on there. Make sure you
Mhm.
follow them and support them. And yeah, check me out on Instagram, the Monster 705 underscore UFC, and then Facebook at Kyle the Monster Nelson.
Awesome. Thank you, sir, so much. Can't wait to see you fight here in a couple weeks and get that W, bro.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Right on, brother. Have a good night. Thank you.
Have a good one.